With 2022 now in the rearview mirror, how will you remember the year? For the nation and the world, it was the third year in a global pandemic as COVID continues to lurk in the background of everything we do. It was a year of political change and personal change for many. Tonight, we look back at some of the biggest local stories as Melissa Luck revisits the most read stories of the year on KXLY.com.
I've done a lot of these stories over the years where we look back at the stories you most read and watched on our website and on our app. For the first time since 2019, COVID did not top the list. But the stories that did were local stories that made national headlines too. And our most read story of the year came on almost the last day. The fifth most read story of 2022 came just as many of you were trying to see friends and family for the holidays. We posted the stories Christmas week as terrible ice and snow kept hundreds of flights on the ground in Seattle and Portland. That impacted holiday travel for thousands and was the start of a travel mess that led to so many of you and your loved ones stuck in airports this week instead of with your families.
Our flight is Thursday. We showed up today just to see if we can get out here any sooner. Now they told us our flight is canceled, and the earliest they can get us out of here is January 2nd or 4th.
The fourth most read story of the year, one we didn't quite expect would draw so many readers. It was July when a change in Washington law made it harder for thieves to sell stolen catalytic converters to scrap metal shops. Our third most read story online this year, a contractor mess from Spirit Lake, Idaho.
This is a nightmare. This is absolutely the worst thing I could have imagined. June 1st, my daughter came home from school to find that people were removing the roof of our house.
A contractor went to the wrong address. Add to that a rainy spring, and the family was left not only without a roof, but with drywall and carpet damage too. The price to fix it, estimated then at more than $70,000.
And it wasn't just City Park that they were planning to riot in.
National attention drove the second most read story on KXLY.com this year when the white nationalists of the PATRIOT Front were busted in a U-Haul on the way to a pride event in Coeur-dalene. Police said they were planning to disrupt the event, as the group has in many other states. But a concerned person saw them loading up and called 911. In all, police arrested 31 so-called patriots who are making their way now through the legal system. Finally, the most read story this year was one of many we've told and are still telling about the horrific murder of 4 University of Idaho students.
This incident has shaken our community, has continued to shake our community.
We've covered every angle of this case since the murders on the morning of November 13th. And the most read story of the year was one we wrote the second to last day of the year about a break in the case and police finally arresting a suspect. Our story, Who is Murder Suspect Brian Kohberger, was the most read on KXLY.com in 2022. We should know much more about this man and what police say connects him to the horrific crime when he's brought back to Idaho to face charges. Welcome news for a community shaken to its core.
We don't give up. We can't give up. We owe it to the victims. We owe it to the victims' families. We owe it to our community. We owe it to our officers.
I'm Melissa Luck, 4 News Now.
And you can, of course, take a look back at all of the top stories of 2022 by going to our website, KXLY.com.